guys, today we are gonna deep dive into the subreddit Let's Not Meet and hear some real life creepy encounters that people have experienced. Getting chased by a man in the woods. So one night, me and my friends were playing some hide and seek in our hometown. We were probably like 13 at that time. So I went into a small area that is basically like a shortcut from the main road to the side road. I unfortunately went alone and I didn't even think of what can happen. Remember, we were only 13 and at that time, and we didn't bring phones with us, so if something happened to us, nobody would even know. So the game started and I ran sprinting to the woods area. First 30 seconds was good. Disclaimer. We have a rule that we have to come to the checkpoint where we start and we have to save ourselves from not getting picked to search. After around 1 minute, I start hearing footsteps. I say, "Hello, are you one of my friends?" And something that was there didn't say anything. So I started backing out. Fortunately, the woods area has a main route and two side ones, so I could have run either way. I started backing out and from nowhere, the man just appears from the woods and starts sprinting at me while saying, "I'm gonna catch you." Oh my god, in a creepy and eerie way. That is so freaking terrifying. I've mentioned this plenty of times, guys, in my streams and a lot of people have gone accustomed to me saying these things, but one of my biggest fears, and that's still to this day what triggers me like in horror games and horror movies, is the image of having someone like just running like fast towards me. So every time there's those scenes where there's like a ghost super far and then it just comes at you, that makes me jump. That just makes me jump. The fact that this girl would just like have this happen in real life, it's a whole nother level of creepiness, guys. Like a kidnapper. Fortunately, I trained football, soccer, so I knew I can definitely outrun him, or at least make him tired. I sprint all my way through the woods with only light being the moonlight, and after around 2 minutes he gave up. I continued sprinting and got myself all the way to the checkpoint and told all of my friends what had just happened. Of course no one believed, but I didn't care since I knew it was real. Dude, this is so bad though, and then no one believes you. This is awful. This is terrible. To this day, I still don't know who or what had tried to catch me that night, but for sure, I know I wasn't a sports guy. The outcome would be very, very different. So I'll correct myself. It's not a she. I don't know why I thought it was a she. Nothing said. That was terrible. That is so bad. I am so sorry for you. This is terrifying. I feel like that I would remember this for the rest of my freaking life if this happened. I'm so glad you are a sporty guy. That most likely saved your freaking life, it seems. But this is terrifying. There's a lot of creepy people out there, guys. This is scary stuff. I think I'm being watched. This title is already like giving me the creeps and we haven't even started. Ever since I started living at this house, weird things have happened. Nothing good starts like this, guys. Nothing good starts like this. I regularly sounds like someone is walking on the outside of the house at night, and it's starting to freak me and my roommates out. For some context, this is a college house, 4 girls in our 20s, just looking for a fun place to live. There have been a few different encounters that have led us to this conclusion, and it only continues to fall into place. Guys, it's like absolutely terrifying to be a girl in these days. A guy too, like everyone, it's terrifying. The world has just gone into a terrible spiral, guys. I hate to be like a pessimist when it comes to stuff like that. I always try to see the bright side of things, but these past days it's just so terrible, so many terrible things happening. I should probably not be reading this. I'm gonna like freak myself out and then I'm not gonna be able to sleep. Let's go back to this summer when the first break-in was, oh no, so they actually have had a break-in. That is not good. An evening in September, in the middle of the week, the garage has never been used by us other than for storage, opened and one of us was at home with music blasting. She heard it and didn't think anything of it, but about 5 minutes later went upstairs to check and found our garage door open and back door unlocked. Again, we do not use our garage. She looked around and found nothing missing and figured it was an accident. Yeah. Like, I feel like you being in your house and having something moved that you know that you were alone, so that's like impossible to have moved. That's very eerie. I feel like the worst part of these stories, guys, is knowing that they're real. You know, I like hearing like ghost stories and stuff like that, like creepypasta, like necessarily they're not real stories, but the fact that these are like real events just... About a month later, we were having a party. It was around Halloween and we decided to have a custom party. Around 1 a.m., someone was in our backyard and turned to see a man walking up the side of our house. Ugh. When the man saw him, he ran away and up the hill. We also, around this time, had one of our car windows broken. Nothing was stolen, just the window was broken. That is very weird. I feel like I'm starting to have the feeling that this person just wants you to know they're there. You know what I mean? It's like they want to creep you out. Like, actually, they just want to know they're there and mark their presence, if you know what I mean. Last night, while driving around, we noticed a car we had seen drive by a few times and followed it up the hill. The man in this car, a middle-aged white man, very receding hairline and arms covered in tattoos, comes to a complete stop in the middle of the street and turns around to look at us, then pulls to the side of the road. He waited there for a few minutes, and we waited one street over. We saw him turn left and followed him into the neighborhood in front of ours. We lost sight of him and drove around the neighborhood a bit more. So you guys decided to get into detective mode. I like it, but at the same time, that is very dangerous, guys. Very, very dangerous. When driving in front of our house, we were wondering if anyone behind could see into our rooms and went to look into the street behind. The house that had direct view into my room happened to have the same car that was driving around our house, sitting right in front of it. This car is very distinct. It's an old white sedan with a black shoe mark on the rear bumper. We immediately went back to our house and looked out the window at the house and realized we had seen someone there before. On multiple separate occasions, there was a middle-aged man standing in the window looking at our house or sitting on the back porch in a lawn chair facing our house. Last night, when we went to bed, my roommate had her window open and heard footsteps. Oh no. Our fence gate open and car doors. The footsteps sounded like they were directly outside her window, and I also heard them. Normally, I wouldn't jump to conclusions, but I feel like these occurrences just connect too well to be coincidental. If anyone has any idea or input, please let me know. We are genuinely getting scared. I will update if anything else happens. Okay, this is terrifying. Guys, I will admit, personally, I am a little bit paranoid. So this is like way more than my little paranoias. This is like scary. This is a real thing. I feel like, I don't know exactly where this takes place. I don't know if this is somewhere like the US. I have mentioned before that here in Portugal, recording people is not legal. It's not something that you can use to justify like a crime or to just serve as proof. You can't do that, which is honestly a joke in my opinion, guys. I feel like that's just really, really terrible. But if you are in a place where you can record, I will definitely recommend getting like some sort of security system, alarms for like windows, the doors. Like it's really tough because they had mentioned that they are university college students, I believe. So maybe money is a little bit tight to kind of get that kind of thing, but it's your safetiness, guys. I feel like in this case, oh, and report it to the police. Of course, it's always better. I feel like it's always better to have like precaution, like way more precaution, even if you think maybe this is just like in your head and maybe you're exaggerating. No. If your gut's saying that you're not exaggerating, this is creepy. Just also, I feel like I would talk to the police just in case. Okay, I'm gonna assume that this title is stalking at Target because I just glanced a little bit ahead and it does say Target, so I think that's how it goes. I am a college student in SoCal and I just had this happen just this week. I went to the Target in a town that is like 15 minutes from my college during my long gap between classes on Tuesday. Right after I went to the bathroom, I met eyes with some random guy and I noticed he kept like circling me or purposefully followed me around the store. Okay, that's straight away a big red flag for me. That's a big red flag for me. I have heard a lot of horror stories, guys, especially in the US. Being from Portugal, like I've been like pretty much all my life feeling pretty safe. Lately, crime has increased a lot here in Portugal, which is scary because I think even our police is not used to have so much crime, so it's kind of hard because they don't really know themselves how to deal with a lot of the situations that we're starting to see a rise on. But I've heard a lot of stories and the first thing that I think in my head is human trafficking. I've heard so many horror stories, guys, of people like following other people in grocery stores and they like talk on the phone and follow you, and they always say for you to not leave the store. So I'm just gonna let that know, if someone's following you around, guys, on a phone call, just like don't leave the store, try to talk with the staff or something and get to safety. And it's like, once again, it's not bad to have precaution, even if it's just a little bit of paranoia, because I definitely do have sometimes a little bit of paranoia here and there. I would probably do that. He tried to say something vaguely the 2 times he passed right next to me before I called my partner to be busy, so maybe he would leave me alone. He didn't stop following me around Target. He even acted like he was shopping and had his phone out. See, guys, I told you. Oh my god, no. This has too many red flags for all the videos that I've seen. Like, this has a lot of red flags. Oh my god, I'm worried. It was obvious he wasn't actually shopping. When I looked at the woman's clothes too, he vaguely tried to act like he was shopping in the woman's section too. When I hadn't seen him for a bit, I ditched my car, sorry Target employees, and hightailed it out of the store. He followed me out of the Target too. No! I looked for the Target security guard on my way out of the store, but there wasn't one, so when I exited after I waited to let him pass me, he pretended to go to the other stores, but kept looking back at me. I ducked behind the cars to make sure he didn't see which car I got into to follow me more. I also freaked out because I feel like when there was a Target employee for me to try to get to help me, he cut me off and talked to them. Oh, that's weird. It was super creepy and I'm pretty freaked out. Please keep your wits about you. No, this is very suspicious behavior, guys. No. Once again, I do feel, doesn't Target have like securities? I feel like they do. Where was the security guard? But yes, the only thing that I would have recommended not doing, but I'm so glad that this person is safe, but I would definitely not have left the store, guys. It could have been way worse after that, because we had no idea if potentially there was someone outside waiting already, because if he was on the phone, if the other person was on the phone, like I don't know, guys, how does this make you feel? I feel like this has very much human trafficking vibes, unfortunately, and that's terrible, and I'm so sorry someone had to go through like something as creepy as this. The guy down the street, it seems like we have a trigger warning on this one, guys. There will be weapons mentioned, so keep yourself safe if this is something that triggers you. Hi, 30 female, used to live in a small neighborhood from age 13 to 18. This took place when I was around 15. I spent most of my time just walking around the neighborhood listening to my MP3 player. Oh my god, I know! I just didn't notice that she put, whoa, feels old just typing that. I know the feeling, I felt old reading that because I did have my little MP3 player too, guys. I remember having this one that was like shaped as a freaking flash drive. If you guys had one of those, you gotta say in the comments. You gotta say in the comments, guys. There was a guy around the same age as me that lived maybe 5 or so houses down from me. From neighborhood gossip, I learned that he was homeschooled and had been in and out of juvie due to his anger issues. Oof. He was almost always outside, and sometimes when I passed his house, he would start following me. I was smart enough to always have my music down low enough to be able to hear and be aware of my surroundings. At first, I just passed it off as he just ended up walking the same time of the day I did. Looking back, I was truly dumb. Yeah, that the whole, like, every time you're walking the street, guys, and if there's cars passing by, you should always have your volume down. But it's also very good that this girl thought straight away, yeah, I should probably have my volume down because this is strange, especially when it's reoccurrent. Just once again, just to be safe, there's no harm in always being safe, guys. As time passed, he got close and closer to me when following, until he eventually decided to come up right behind me. I hate when people are just super close to you, guys. Even if they're not, like, when they're not following, right? Like, imagine grocery store. I just hate when people are like breathing on your neck. Oh, that's so creepy, it's so weird. Don't do that. He said some truly heinous things that I will not repeat here. I mean, he was right in my ear when we was talking. I ran home and told my sister, she was basically who raised me. She told me I was lying and to stop making up stories. People, come on. Why is this always a to-go thing? It seems like people don't see enough horror movies. Like, people always try to say that something happened to them, and the first thing that people do is not try to dig deeper. No, it's always to dismiss it as a lie. Please don't do that. Please try to understand. It's a very, very severe accusation, especially, I'm assuming she said the creepy details, the heinous things that were said. So please don't just dismiss that. I have never heard of someone just like bluntly lying about something so terrible happening like that, but maybe that's just me. For a while, I stopped going out walking until I needed the fresh air and exercise, and tried again after maybe 2 months. This is so sad though. This is so sad. The fact that there's people out there that can make you freak out so much that you have to stop your life, you have to stop feeling safe. It shouldn't be this way. Like, no one should ever feel this way. Sure enough, there he was, and came right up behind me and started to say things again. Like, this is mortifying. I hate this so bad. I turned my music up and ignored him. This is what I continued to do every day, until he got tired of me ignoring him, I guess. Because one day he grabbed my arm and I couldn't get away, and then he grabbed the back of my neck and told me that I should know better than to ignore him. Yeah, you know what? It does seem like he does have some anger issues. Yeah, it does seem like a person that probably shouldn't be in that neighborhood, probably shouldn't have left juvie, maybe. I don't know. It doesn't seem like the whole point of juvie and prisons is to reform people into society. And if they're not doing that, there's something severely wrong with how they're running. And unfortunately, I know that it's very hard to change how things are, but prisons and juvies are not doing what they're supposed to do. And then stuff like this happens. So we really need to get better as a society, guys. We really need to get better out there. Again, I told my sister, she didn't believe me. Why, sister? Why? And I stopped going out again 2 weeks later, I woke up to loud bangs on my bedroom wall. No. There was a garage on both sides of the house, and the wall of my bedroom shared a wall with one of the garages. This garage wasn't finished, there wasn't even concrete down, and it was easily accessible from outside as it was missing the door at the back of the house. My sister was out of town, and my dad was deaf and bedridden, so it was just me in the house able to do anything. My bedroom also had a door to go outside, so I ran over and locked it. I laid down and waited for the banging to stop, but it didn't. My cousin and her boyfriend lived down the street, so I called her and she sent her boyfriend down to see what it was. Her boyfriend pulled right into the backyard and right up to the door in the garage. His headlights filled the garage and out ran the guy from down the street, holding a large knife. Dude! No! Oh my god! He took off running and my cousin's boyfriend followed. It was at this time I called the police. Well, at least, this is the thing. It has to come to this point for you to be able to call the police. This is insane. It should not be this way. It should not have to be someone coming to your actual house threatening you with a knife the reason to be able to call the police, guys. That might be too late. This is awful. They came and took a statement but said there was nothing they could do because other than going into the garage and trespassing, he didn't actually do anything. There is so many things wrong with this sentence. Please, what the hell? This girl has freaking been harassed by this guy every single freaking day, to the point that this guy goes to her house holding a freaking knife. And you can't do nothing about that. That is so upsetting. I hate that. I never took a walk in that neighborhood again. I still wonder how he knew what wall to bang on. How did he know I was on the other side of it? How did he know my sister was gone or that my dad was bedridden and couldn't do anything? I never locked the door. So had he been in my house to know? What would have happened if I wouldn't have gone outside? It still gives me the creeps. So guys, down the street, let's not meet again. Yes, let's not meet again. Like, oh my god, I hate that. I hate this. I hate this story. This is absolutely terrible. This should never happen to anyone out there. This is mortifying. I hate the fact that this happens and no one can do anything. I just hate that. Hate that. I would just recommend always locking your house, guys. Everything possible in your house. I'm just like that, you know. Sometimes I lock the door and sometimes there's like even an extra lock. I always lock my things. I am mortified that an intruder is gonna get in. It is very curious though when she mentions like this guy knew exactly the layout of the house. And he knows her family members. He has to know her family members because he knew too much. That can't just be a coincidence. And yeah, I feel like this is terrible. This is absolutely heartbreaking. Okay guys, now that I feel completely heartbroken to see how our society is going down the drain, I think it's finally time to finish this video. If you enjoy this type of content, you might like this video too. Make sure you give us a like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in the next video. Bye bye guys.